We're going to rotate to our third question now, and the first candidate to answer will be Tessa. So for our third question, Tessa, can you explain how you have been involved in the school district in the past?
My involvement in the district has primarily been volunteering in the classroom with my children, more so at the elementary level. Like I said earlier, I have a 5th and 8th grader, and apparently 8th graders do not want you to come to middle school and volunteer. My 5th grader does like when I come in, and then being a proud member of our school board these past 4 years, and I serve on several committees within the district.
Thank you. Chris, can you explain how you have been involved with the school district in the past?
I have been involved with the teachers, a lot of whom I see in the room, on a regular basis. Both of my kids have come through the classes, and given the opportunity, I would still be volunteering in my 8th graders classroom. It's a combination of 8th grade math is different and challenging and done differently, so that opportunity has disappeared. But the kids' sports I have been involved with. If I weren't sitting here tonight, there's a good chance I'd be in the concession stand or out in the stands supporting our kids. I have provided soup dinners for the soccer team. I have sold Quick Trip gift cards to support post-prom activities. Wherever there's help needed, I'm quick to serve.
Thank you. Darren, same question. Can you explain how you have been involved with the district in the past?
I am a team member with All Pro Dad. All Pro Dad is it's an organization that's created by Tony Dungy back when he coached the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He saw that his coaches need to spend more time with their kids. Coaching is a demanding job. Being a dad's a demanding job. So what All Pro Dad does is we have a breakfast once a month at the elementary school, and it provides the kids to have time with their dads. And then after they're done with breakfast, dads walk them to class. It's kind of cool. John Doctor started that 4 or 5 years ago, and I've been with him ever since, and that's been a lot of fun. We just recently had a tailgate party at the high school, at the high school football game last week. That was a pretty good success. We had Beaver Stem cater it, and the food was fantastic, and moms got to come to that. Moms and kids. But spent a lot of time volunteering. My wife is a PTO president for Byron Schools, so I volunteer. I'm coerced to volunteer. We have a lot of fun with that. Our whole family gets involved with the PTO, and help her with setting up sewing clothes and stuff like that. So we go to a lot of events, other sporting events, and sew clothes.
Thank you. And back to Mark. Can you explain how you have been involved with the school district in the past?
Well, I think with having 2 children in the school district, just the various field trips. I remember globe making, and that was a blast. But I've sponsored various school activities. Just been a large part of various things throughout the school. All Pro Dads as well. Unfortunately, I kind of missed that time. It was really good to be able to go to that with my daughter. But chamber events, just multiple things within the school district that, those are just a few that I've touched on. Though the big blast parties, anything I can volunteer for that is with our kids, I don't think I've missed an event.
Thank you. And finally, Sharon, can you explain how you have been involved with the school district in the past?
Absolutely. So my involvement started back when my son was a kindergartner. My daughter was a 3rd grader, very similar to the rest of the people up here. Volunteering was a big thing in the elementary school, so I was out on that sledding hill every Wednesday and Friday, and I also did the glow making and did all that kind of stuff. But the fun really begins, and what I'm seeing as my kids transition through is when they go into middle school and high school, you see a transition in areas that you can really be a part of and really affect. So again, volunteering, but transitioning to more supportive roles. So my daughter and her, several of her classmates, I brought up Technovation before last year, had the opportunity to identify a need in the community and then create an application to find a solution for that. And really, it's a program that really sets up girls to become entrepreneurs. Did I say that right? But with that, I had the privilege of working with this core team, and we had some fantastic coaches. But I was able to use my skill set to help them create a business plan and to help them create an implementation plan and a sales and strategy plan, so they can go into these classrooms and into these business segments, and they can present and pitch their business for that. So I had that opportunity to do that, and I will say I'm very proud of those girls and their success. They did win the regional one, and were put into the semifinals for the World Pitch program. So that, as well as, again, like I mentioned before, I sit on the World's Best Workforce Advisory Committee, and I am an avid supporter of our Bears in every facet. I've got kids that play soccer, that do track, that sports, hockey, but also I have community friends that have kids that come to me to ask for help when they're putting together projects for the robotics team, or when they're putting together projects for, how do I help my kid plan for the spelling bee? I'm very well connected, and I've had the opportunity to work with people in the community as well.
Thank you. We're going to rotate to our fourth question, and so this one will be directed to Chris Smith, and then we'll rotate through the rest of the candidates. So Chris, Byron continues to grow as a community. Where do you see the Byron Public Schools in the next 5 years, and how do you think the school system should respond to this growth?
It's an exciting time to live in the Rochester area and the surrounding communities. Byron has seen growth larger than anticipated. Based on some of the studies that were done several years ago, the Byron schools built a primary school with intended capacity of 75% and opened its doors at near full capacity. I see that growth continuing, and you can all see it as you drive through our neighborhoods. The new construction homes they're coming up all over the community in all sectors, and I think that as much as we love our small town and the strong moral values that we have, we really need to embrace this growth. That in order for us to succeed in the growth, we need to make sure that the people who enter our community recognize that we do have small.
And moving on to Darren, same question. Byron continues to grow as a community. Where do you see the Byron Public Schools in the next 5 years, and how do you think the school system should respond to this growth?
I believe in the next 5 years, Eoda, Pine Island, Stewartville, Oronoco, and Byron could be in the top 10 or the top 20 growing cities in the state of Minnesota right now. The top 10 cities are all around the Twin Cities except for Eagle Lake. The town is going to grow, being Rochester. DMC, we'll have to see how that grows. I used to do computer support and public relations at Mayo Clinic. I have close working ties with the people there. I would like to be more involved in DMC and as a liaison for Byron to see what's going on with the growth. Jeff Elstad is doing what we hired him to do. He's working on a study with the city of Byron on watching how our growth is right now. And he's going to be somebody that we're going to follow closely. The school board's going to have to work with him on future issues. And Rochester is bursting at the seams. There's no more homes to be built. And just going into Rochester tonight, I saw how there's land that's being sold on the outskirts, and that's the land that where if somebody builds a house there, they can go to Byron School. And that's going to be an issue in the future, is having Rochester people that live on the outskirts of town will be able to go to school here. And so things like that will have to be addressed in the next 5 years.
Thank you. Moving on to Mark. Byron continues to grow as a community. Where do you see the Byron Public Schools in the next 5 years? And how do you think the school system should respond to this growth?
Chris took the words right out of my mouth. I think we embrace the growth. It's all we can do. I think it's a double-edged sword. It's a really good thing, but it's growing so fast it's hard to keep up with. I mean, that's where we're at with the new schools. But I think we face, you know, each obstacle as it comes, and we face them as, you know, as opportunities. I think it's a good thing for all of us. I know that there's a study that was being looked at by a third party. It started 4 years ago, and to see where we're at, as like Darren said about the Destination Medical Center, how is that affecting us? Are we on pace for what the projections were, or are we surpassing that substantially? And then we'll have to, you know, face those issues as they come. And that's what I have for that.
Thank you. And Sharon, same question. Byron continues to grow as a community. Where do you see the Byron Public Schools in the next 5 years? And how do you think the school system should respond to this growth?
Absolutely, I agree with both of you on the fact that we have to embrace the growth. I will go one step further and say we have to embrace the growth, but we have to do it intelligently, right? We have to make sure that when we're growing, we have the right strategies in place to do so. So when you're looking ahead at the next 5 years, I really see the success of Byron School District to continue, right? So from my perspective, to support that, I see continued traction and execution around challenging what the status quo is for our students and for our families in the community, and finding those new ways to form, new ways of education to implement and to make that personalized learning for our students be the key. In the next 5 years, personalized education really needs to be evaluated, as we're doing now, but make sure that we're proactive and what we're doing is actually working, and if it's not, let's find out the right solution to do that. And that takes communication between the community, our board, and our leaders and the teachers in the community too. I also think continued growth with this concept that Byron's done such a good job starting in the next 5 years for their growth is really going to be critical. I think education and teaching our kids for mastery level learning versus teaching them to take a test and succeed is going to continue to be another key focus for the growth of our area. In response to continued growth, I think the district will need to focus additionally on financial responsibility, continued facilitation of open, clear, and transparent communication between the school board, our community, and our partners, and ongoing evaluation of what's working. And then being focused and attentive to proactive discussions around roadblocks to success. So those could be funding and financing, administrative management, and proactive resource management. Thank you.
Same question to Tessa. Byron continues to grow as a community. Where do you see the Byron Public Schools in the next 5 years? And how do you think the school system should respond to this growth?
Well, we're very aware of this growth that's happening in Byron, as we're one of the fastest growing districts in the state, and I feel will continue to be. This year alone, we have enrolled approximately 60 new resident students. This is a very exciting time for us, yet very challenging for the district, and we're taking the initiative to be as prepared as possible. Our growth will be affected by what's happening locally and regionally, as everyone's talking about DMC. But there's so many unknowns. Mr. Elstad is working on a 10-year facility plan that will help us plan for the future. This includes where future residential developments are being created within our district borders, which will potentially affect our growth, kind of what Darren had mentioned. We need to continue to responsibly monitor open enrollment as resident enrollment increases. We must be proactive in our decision making. We need to make sure we have the right timing, the right location, and the right type of building for our district while remaining fiscally responsible.